Every generation should try as much as possible to make life better for the next generation, upcoming generation. However, every generation should always make the best of what they have and maximize it. You see, we're in a world of transition and progression. The world we have now is far better than how it was 200 or 300 years ago, and that's fact. If you look at, empires, conquerors, the way they ruled is much different from the way we are ruled now, and it's a result of what people have learned over time. Even after World War II, the world significantly changed in terms of how it is governed, because we've learned from the past, and that is where history comes in. The whole idea of history is to able to learn from the mistakes of those who have come before us. And because we are in a world of productivity where every human being wants to get better, every human being wants to do things, but in all essence, if you try as much as possible to work on yourself and be better, you kind of help the next generation. Look at innovation, for instance. A lot of people that have been innovative has given room for people to believe and people to grow, and that is how it should be. I don't think it should be right for any generation to just decide that, oh, okay, I'll have all the resources to myself. I think it's the onus still lie on us to be able to make the life of everybody that is coming after us better. Well, it's not compulsory, but for every time we make the life of, or every time we do things that help the next generation, humanity rewards us. We get the best from humanity. People grow. You cannot truly work on your gifts and your productivity without it, positively affecting those coming before you. That's the reason why a lot of people still take credit for the first person to do this, the first person to do that. It is that motivation it gets. And when we are looking at society as a whole, a teenager, the difference between, say, maybe someone that is a teenager early 20s and somebody in the 40s and 50s is time. There are some 20s, people that are 20 years and 30 years old, smarter and wiser than people that are in their 50s and 60s, and that's truth. However, what people in their 50s and 50s, 60s, in short, what every generation has over the next is time. And no matter your idea, no matter how you plan on doing things, time is the best judge. You've known how it is done. Time has helped you to understand what works and what works and what doesn't work. And that is what I feel we owe the next generation. Every generation should try as much as possible to make the world they are living better. There's so much selfishness. Yes, it's good to be selfish, but at least with some limitations. That's the whole reason why some people are just hustling, so that they will make the best for their family, create generational wealth, and let their progenitors will not, struggle too much to get what they want. However, it won't be the best to just focus only on your immediate progeny, which is your family and your children, because the family you are forming will still interact with society at large, and how well they will maximize their resources or get the best of whatever you give them will still depend on those around them, the community and the society. So I think it's always necessary for every generation should always think about, okay, how can we make the next generation better? And sometimes it can come naturally if you truly maximize the gifts you are giving. Look at technology, for instance. From developing the computer to developing processors to the internet to AI, it has become better. People that are going into tech now are more productive than people that were into tech 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And that should be the natural progression of things. The same thing with societies. The reason why a lot of developed countries are, people in developed countries tend to be more productive is because of what people before them has done. And that is how I think a lot of people in developing countries should also think. Look for how things can get better. Look for what you can do. Look for how you can make the next generation better, because when you make the next generation better, it increases their productivity. Humanity benefits. That is different from spoon feeding. You don't necessarily have to spoon feed anybody, but just create the right environment and resources, to make things better. And to anybody in a particular generation, it doesn't make sense to always blame those before you for your predicament. It will limit your growth. Just make the best of everything you are given, even though sometimes it's hard. You might be in a situation that might not be the best for you. People before you must have, used up all the resources. That's the same thing with some leaders in some countries. They don't care who is coming next. They just, mortgage people's future. Obviously, yes, they have their share of the blame, but if you focus too much on that blame, it will limit your thinking in the present state. You won't be able to maximize what you have, though it might be difficult, because if a pessimistic mindset limits you, so we're in a world of process. We're in a world where you learn on the job. We're not where you try as much as possible to get the best of positive energy. When you get the best of positive energy, there is no limit to what you can achieve. It's the same way with let me just give instance of some things that happen in the world where a lot of people say something is scripted, like Messi and Lamine Yamal. The fact that Messi beated him, the number 19, they met in the final. I'm sure this was not planned 10 years ago, but by the fact that they were just living their life, Messi was maximizing his potentials, playing football, enjoying it. Lamine Yamal is maximizing his potentials. Look at what came out of it, the script that came out of it. And that's the reason why I also like live events and football. Is like it mimics what happened in real life. So for every time you are in a situation, what the resources you have is as good as who came before, what people that came before you have done. But even though you are in a negative place, don't be too focused on that. Work with what you have, make the best of what you have, so that even those that are coming after you will be able to appreciate you and make the best of what you have given them and make humanity better. It's all about process. It's all about making the best of what we have. So in conclusion, everybody in a particular state, particular generation should always look for how we can make the next generation coming after us better. And for every place we find ourselves as a generation, no matter where you are, it's good to just make the best of what you are. Don't be too focused on what the previous generation did not do, and always look for how you make your own generation and those coming after you better. Thank you.